Hi there, welcome to Conversations, where we seek to advance your leader and team excellence by discussing relevant topics that impact today's organizations. Welcome to the show. Hey there, leader. In today's conversation, we are talking about ego or empathy, the secret sauce of leadership. Hey there, how you doing today? I get it. You're an eye on the prize, bottom line, get the job done type of leader. But the reality is leadership is as much heart as it is head. When leaders are one extreme or the other, the organization as a whole will suffer. Leadership practices must be balanced, knowing your people's wants, needs, and desires, not just in COVID times, but all times is required. Unfortunately, what matters to your people often goes unheard, noticed, or felt. If your ego is getting in the way of demonstrating the essential soft skill empathy, now is the time for correction. Empathy has been called the secret sauce, which gives the typical hardcore goal-oriented leader the ability to step in to their people's needs, wants, and desires. Exhibiting empathy builds commitment. When your people know how much you care, they will continually show up as a committed partner and bring their best. So what are you thinking? You don't have empathy? Well, the truth is we all have empathy. And I have to admit, on the CliftonsStrengths assessment, the strength theme empathy is not in my top 5, meaning I don't naturally lead with empathy. In fact, empathy isn't even in my top 29. Sound the alarm. This crucial leadership skill comes in at number 30 out of my 34 strength themes. And I'll tell you, when I initially saw my strengths report, I was surprised. Knowing that I didn't have strength in this area bothered me until I understood how these superpowers work. Those who rank high in empathy have an inherent sense of the emotions of others. And according to Gallup, only 18% out of the 20 plus million people who have taken CliftonsStrengths assessment have empathy land in their top 5. And it's okay. The top 5 to 10 strength themes are the sweet spot for leaders, and that's where they operate most. It makes sense that not everyone operates in the empathy strength zone based on the premise that we are all unique and masterfully crafted. This means that yes, even if you don't operate with empathy in your dominant talent themes, you can empathize and demonstrate understanding. It just takes a conscious effort to bring the soft skill to the forefront. So let me ask, are you giving people what they need, and how do you know? On a recent Korn Ferry webinar, 54% of the people on the call said that COVID-19 impacted the need to experience empathy and trust. The most significant adjustment to foster empathy is leader capabilities. When leaders embrace empathy, they see and hear their people. They're tuning in to the needs of all stakeholders. So how are you making an effort to connect on a broader and more profound level than those superficial conversations that are typically in the workplace? Here's some quick tips for you. The first quick tip is to lean in. When leaders cultivate curiosity through conversation, they increase the likelihood of connecting with others. So when was the last time you had a meaningful conversation with your stakeholders? Were you fully tuned in? Were you listening to what's being said? But more importantly, what's not being said? What did your questions and responses relay to the other person? Did your words carry understanding, compassion, and grace? Did you leave the conversation knowing and having a better understanding of the other person's perspective than before? Number 2, sit in discomfort. Yes, I did say sit in discomfort. Empathy must cross barriers, regardless of heritage, religion, or gender. Leaders are called to embrace diversity. The next time differences are present, ask yourself, are you willing to engage in conversation with an open mind and heart? What preconceived assumptions bubble up that must be acknowledged and tempered? How will you create a warm, open environment to engage? How can you position yourself to sit in discomfort and still generate a mutually agreeable outcome? And what words, actions, even that body language can you exhibit to break down barriers? Number 3, make a difference. Now that you've had meaningful conversations, you've addressed those barriers and elevated your relationship by demonstrating empathy, it's time to make a difference. So I'm going to ask you to consider, what can't you unknow now that you've made this heart connection? What is the next step to improve the overall relationship and the individual needs of your people? And how will you extend yourself past the initial inquiry conversation? So those 3 tips to lean in, sit in discomfort, and make a difference. Well, now it's time for an empathy challenge. I may not lead with empathy every day, but I have done self-work to increase my awareness and recognize others' emotions and feelings. When leaders become self-aware, they can make adjustments. When these adjustments are made, leaders can honor the people in their charge by being foremost. Here's your empathy challenge. Do a heart check and then reach out to one person and make a conscious connection. When you are making that connection, think about leaning in and listening and then responding. And when you're done, do some of that self-reflection and ask yourself, did you in fact lean in? Did you sit in the discomfort? Did you remove those barriers? And did you make a difference through the conversation? Are you ready to take the CliftonsStrengths or the Emotional Intelligence Assessment and see where your empathy lies? Be sure to reach out. Until next time, this is Dr. Kelly Whelan. Keep doing great things because our world needs leaders like you.